Alrighty, and good evening, everybody. Let's make sure our volumes are all down so we don't get blasted out. I may not be. Welcome to the Q&A for the CSL IPL, as well as information on the Canada Open. My name is Grant. I'm sitting beside the one and only Mr. Ben Francis.
What's going on, everyone?
How are you this week?
Good. Busy, of course, as expected.
It's kind of crazy.
A month to go.
A month to go.
What's the date today? The 13th? So we got like a month and 3 days.
A month and 3 days. Yeah. It's a sprint to the finish line.
That's right.
So I think we'll just let a few more join in with us. We have quite a lengthy review to do, going through the CSL IPL and what that is, the Q Sports Live International Pool League, playing the Ghost. We've got a few things to go through with that, and then we'll get into the Canada Open. We'll talk a little pool, talk a little what's happening with the Canada Open.
Answer any questions. Of course, it is a Q&A, so fire the questions. We'll answer them as we go.
Yes. Good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
If we don't know the answer, we'll make up a really good one.
And we are on Facebook and YouTube, so you can type your comments in on either one.
100%. Or Tommy Farrell, how you doing? Adam?
If you happen to go back and listen to this after, you can always send us a message or shoot us an email, qsportslive@gmail.com.
Yeah,
with your questions.
Lots and lots and lots of ways to get in touch with us. So let's jump into it, guys. For those that have tried to jump onto our website currently, register and pay for entering the next session of the CSL IPL, which starts July 18th to September 5th. Small update. Our normal players may know this, but we're live to the globe right now. So our processing portal on that website is in the middle of being changed. For whatever reason, Shopify decided that they didn't want to support the processing side of the website anymore. And so we have found a new company to deal with that, and they are currently working on that. So if you have tried to go on and pay for the league fees and so on and so forth, or order products that are on the website and you're getting errors there, that's why. They started on that last week. We had hoped that it would be ready by now. And the delay, from what I know from the guy in charge, is coming from the Shopify information flow back and forth between those two companies. Mm-hmm. So as soon as it is up and ready to go, we will let everybody know. The best thing to do is, if you do want to play in the next session, go on and fill out the player information form. Get that side done. That will give me and Ben a list of players to automatically contact and say, okay, it's ready to go.
Correct. And we are going to extend registration through the first week of the league.
Yep.
So that'll be, I believe the cutoff would be 25th then.
Mm-hmm. So. Absolutely. And it's partially due to a couple of different factors, right? Number one is obviously the payment side of the website isn't up and functioning as of yet. But secondly, and most importantly, is advertising and so on and so forth. We're on a sprint to the finish for the Canada Open, and it is a lot. It is a lot to go through. It's a lot to get ramped up for. A lot of I's dotted, T's crossed. Dealing with what's going on in the world, supply chain issues, shipping issues, all of the things that come into play when you're trying to put on an event, with still lingering the COVID things that are happening around the world. So it's taken up an astronomical amount of time, and so we haven't had really the time nor the opportunity to advertise as much as what we would like.
To plug the league, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's summertime, and we're leading up to the Canada Open. So it's really at this point just a time constraint. So we'll open up and leave registration open for the first week.
And Dan Clark, hey, Adam Seed, let's just answer his question quick here.
Most
he wants
certainly.
to know, are we eligible to play Scotch at the CSI Westerns? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So singles play in the Ghost League will qualify you for singles and Scotch.
Correct.
But the team event, you will need to play on a team.
Which we have the answer for.
Which we have the answer for.
We do. So in this next session, and only for this next session, we'll see kind of how it goes and what BCA does with us go forward. But for this next session, we do have 3-man team available, 3 different levels, gold, silver, bronze. That is available on the website. When you go to the website, if you don't see all the options, just hit the view all, and that'll bring in all the different options. And there's 2 different ways that you can have a 3-man team. One is if, and I'm going to put this down for now. One is if myself, Ben, and my son wanted to play on a team, and we're going to play out of one location. All 3 of us would play in rotation each week and go through and do the match. If you want to form a team, you can form a team from virtually anywhere on the planet. 3 different people, 3 different locations. That scenario, all 3 of you would play at the same time.
Live to the CSLIPL Players Group Facebook page.
Correct. So in doing that, BCA will recognize that as team weeks to qualify people to play for team events. So for those that didn't know, the CSLIPL, we are BCA sanctioned, we are ACS sanctioned, and we are CCS sanctioned. We're also sponsored by Predator. So in the open division in the singles, should you win that division, you also get a paid entry into the Predator Pro Series, one that you choose, right? Depending on geographical location, timing, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So a couple of different options, lots of value add as far as what I'm concerned. And I know my opinion and even Ben's opinion is going to come across biased, but I believe now we have the statistical data running this now for about 1.5 years, somewhere in that neck of the woods.
Yeah.
What you get out of this is more than just playing the Ghost.
Yeah.
Right. The value is in the heat or the recreation of pressure situations, having the cameras on you, buying a home table. It gives purpose. It gives a reason. It puts the reason back into why you bought the table
to take the laundry off of the table. Yeah.
Absolutely. Which is the reason you bought it to begin with.
Exactly.
Right. And then there's the perfect practice. Right. And we've kind of said this from day one. Put intention behind what it is you're doing, and automatically you'll get better when you play.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've seen that happen, and we can give you examples like Tommy Farrow is one, Sean Blomley is another.
Eric Ritter,
Eric
I think,
Ritter,
just
right?
won one of his first good-sized tournaments.
Yeah, and the list goes on and on and on as to the benefits and the value of what it is.
That's right.
Now, are there things that we have to do a little bit differently than perhaps other leagues that are out there? Yes. That involves dues being paid up front.
That's right.
Right? That whole, whether it's a 6-week or a 10-week session, it's paid up front. And the reason being is we like to post out as fast as what's humanly possible what payouts will be. We can only do that if we have the money up front. If we do it any other way and try to take it weekly or what have you, by the time you get halfway through the session and somebody decides, well, I'm never going to make the money anyway, I'm just going to quit.
Yeah.
That affects the prize pool.
Absolutely. And we
don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want to have to be changing the prize pool throughout the session.
Yeah. And so there are reasons behind why we do everything that we do. And when we first started doing this, there's no manual for it.
That's right.
This is all stuff that we've come up with. We've kind of collaborated with a bunch of people. It's not just Ben and I sitting back here making decisions on what happens. There's a group of people involved. There's a board involved as to what happens here with the CSLIPL. And so as much as Ben and I guess, have the most influence, it's not just us making decisions on what happens. Right?
Exactly.
We take the emotional side out of everything, which leads to the next point of when we move people, right? It's not just about winning money in a division that will automatically move you up, right? And quite in fact, that's not the case.
Right.
The case is it's based on statistical data on what player levels shoot at and what your score average is.
Scoring average, yeah.
In each different level.
That's right.
So
and there's 5 different levels currently.
Yeah.
In the CSLIPL. So there is a level for every different player.
Most certainly.
But we do move players up and down according to how they're playing.
Yeah.
And we kind of use Fargo rating as a base for slotting players in.
Correct.
But it should be noted that your Fargo rating does not transfer to Ghost play.
No.
A lot of players can play a lot higher than their Fargo rating when they play Ghost or a lot lower.
Yeah.
So it doesn't.
Well, and I mean, there's
translate.
so many things involved, right? You get your time back, right? You can play Ghost whenever you choose, right? We don't set the schedule for each week that you have to play at this
You
particular
can
time.
warm up for an hour, 2 hours.
3 hours, half a
4
day,
days.
whatever you want, right? You go live throughout the week whenever you choose, whenever
right.
is best for you. You don't have to travel if you got a home table. If you do, you're more than welcome to go use a bar table at your local bar or pool hall or what have you. So the flexibility on what we've created, I think, is really one of the biggest benefits.
I think
right?
it's,
I don't have to be
yeah.
at a certain place at a certain time at a certain bar.
Possibly the biggest.
It could be. Yeah, I think the biggest
Attraction.
is the increase in skill level, right?
Absolutely.
And so the translation of playing really good live pool, tournament pool, does not necessarily translate to playing really great Ghost pool. There's a bit of a learning curve there.
That's right.
However, if you get very good at playing Ghost pool, it has a direct impact on playing live pool,
100%.
right?
They play way better.
Yeah, and so the value benefit there certainly outweighs the fact that we collect the money up front and so on and so forth. So, you know, there's reasons behind why we do everything that we do. It's not based on emotion at all.
And I get this comment a lot as players. They say, well, I only play Pool League because I like to go and socialize with my friends once a week. And they say, well, I feel like in the Ghost League, I would lose that camaraderie and there wouldn't be that social
opposite,
aspect.
though, isn't it?
And yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
because now it's like
a really cool byproduct of what we've created.
Yeah, so instead of, you know, you play on a league team and you kind of only socialize with those 5 players or maybe another 5 players once a week. This is like you socialize with
everybody,
maybe 200 players in the group.
Yeah,
whenever you want throughout every single week of the league. It's kind of cool.
It is,
and
I'll tell you, it becomes really addicting, right? And
absolutely.
This last session for me was the first time that I haven't completed in a session, and that kind of bugs me a little bit. However, given circumstances, there was zero chance that I could do it because I've been all over the place and my time is I don't have any left.
Limited. Yeah.
I have no time left for anything.
Very limited.
And especially now, right? The sprint to the starting of the Canada Open.
But it is addicting.
Crazy.
I can imagine
really
you were itching to play a little bit.
I still am.
Yeah.
Right? And I'll be honest, I haven't picked up a queue since we got back from Vegas in BCA.
Yeah.
Right?
VNA.
I have my table here.
BCA
I'm dying
would
to
have
play.
been way too long ago.
Yeah.
VNA.
Or VNA. Yeah, sorry. VNA.
You've played since March, thankfully.
Yes. But not since I got back
since
from,
May.
from VNA. I just haven't had the time to do it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm just too busy doing other things. So we are working on some very big things that I won't go into. It goes well and above beyond what we're doing right now with the CSL IPL and Q Sports Live and what we're doing with the Canada Open. Our plans extend well beyond that. However, we still have to remain focused on what it is we've got in front of us. And so I think the benefit of playing long-term friendships, we've got friendships that have people that would never even...
Like Adam just said too, Adam Sidlitz in the Facebook said he's met 3 awesome friends through the league. And I've met a handful of really cool people through the league too.
100%. Now, again, right, I went down to BCA with the intention of having everybody that was there for the league and doing a dinner and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, with what happened there, it wasn't an option for me. I spent 18 hours a day in that room. However, on the next go-round, that won't be a thing for me.
I'll be there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we'll definitely make that happen. And so anyway, to make a very long, convoluted story short, the value is definitely there in my opinion, your opinion, and a few of the players' opinion as well.
And good question on the YouTube here. Can the public go in and see games played? And if so, where? I'd like to see how this is done. Yeah, absolutely. So if you search up CSL IPL players,
all caps
on Facebook, you'll find the group. You can request to join the group. We'll accept the request, and you can go in and check out some games, see how it's all done.
Here's something that I don't think we've thought of. What if you don't have Facebook? We should create the CSL IPL players on YouTube as well.
Yeah, YouTube group maybe as well. Yeah, we could do something like that. That gets a little more I want to say tougher to police. Now we're following multiple platforms trying to make sure.
Which I think,
but I do think eventually we branch out. We've talked about this to maybe some other platforms. Yeah.
well, and
Not just YouTube.
to be honest, the eventuality of the CSLIPL is it all gets pulled off of Facebook and YouTube, and it's all on our own site.
Yeah, just into one thing. Yeah.
It just makes it a lot easier for function and what our plans are to have automatic scoring and all these other things.
That's right. Yeah.
That makes it really easy to manage. As it sits right now, management, there's a lot of time that goes in. You put in probably more time now than I do with the league.
Yeah, it's lots, but it's manageable.
It is at this point.
At this point.
Right, very manageable.
At this point.
Yeah.
Till we get to like multiple platform.
Yeah.
And
there's multiple games too,
tricky.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got 8 ball, 9 ball, 10 ball.
Yeah,
as options.
And now we'll have 3-man teams.
3-man
teams.
teams.
And then we're going to open up to like straight pool next session.
Yeah, next session is going to be awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be lots. Should we run through the scoring maybe while we're on the topic?
Well, I kind of want to do one other thing before we do that, which is the money breakdown.
Absolutely.
Because I want everybody to understand where the money goes, right? Believe me, it doesn't. I wish it all went into our pocket, but that's not the case. We take the smallest share. So I'm going to use, let's say, the open division for easy numbers.
Yeah.
Okay. Open division right now, as it's stated on the website, is $300. $50 of that comes right off the top. That's your. Is it 300?
I think it's probably 350.
Okay, maybe I'm looking at in my mind it's Division 1.
Yeah, maybe.
Right. Okay. Regardless, the $300 division.
Either way, yeah. Use 300 as an example.
Is an example. Yeah. We take $50 off of that. That goes to your BCA and then your ACS, CCS sanction.
That gets sent straight to them.
Straight to them. We don't touch it.
No.
Then we take 10% of the overall total, so it would be $30. 10%. And what that's for is to cover the cost of money in, money out. Right? As everybody is aware, when you use Visa, MasterCard, Amex, so on and so forth, they range on our end of what they charge us to have that capability is between 4 to 6%.
Right.
So we said, okay, we'll average it out at 5%. That takes money in and allows us to put money out.
That's right. Which can be money in and then sending it out.
Correct.
The sanction fee.
Correct.
But also for payouts.
Well, yeah, kind of a double hit that
That's right.
We have to factor. And so when you look at that 350 comes off, then 30 comes off, well, then we have to make something.
Yeah.
And by something, I mean $30 per player. That's what we charge everybody to come in and play.
In a 10-week session.
6-week or 10-week. $30 is $30. So,
yeah.
And we've had the comment, well, I'm paying more for the 6 weeks than I am for the 10 weeks.
Yeah.
No, you're paying the same for the 6 weeks as what you do for the 10 weeks.
That's right.
Yeah. And so when you take the 50 off for sanctioning, 30 off to cover expense of money in, money out, $30 as a make, the rest of that goes into the prize pool, right? Out of that prize pool fund, depending on the division that you're in, because the Open doesn't get the cash giveaway and the high run, they only get high run.
Yeah, we only get high run. Yeah.
Right. So there's a 10% out of the prize fund money that gets taken, and that's your high run cash giveaway.
Yeah. There's a prize each week for the highest points total in each division for the week.
Yes.
And that just gives everybody something to play for every week, no matter where you are in the standings. Yeah.
That's right. And it opens up the potential for anyone, everyone to be able to make money.
And I think it's super cool to be chasing it all the time.
Of course.
I love it. I'm chasing my own personal high run, but I'm also chasing like Jeff Clare's highest score every week too, you know?
Yes.
So it's super fun.
Yeah. So you can apply those same metrics to any of those divisions, and whatever that remainder is, that's what goes into the prize pool.
25% of each division is paid out.
The other side is we do not pull from a lower division to finance higher divisions. No. Okay? The money that goes into Division 1 stays in Division 1. The money that goes into Division 4 stays in Division 4.
That's right.
Right? And we don't pull from one to finance the other.
And one question we get constantly is, why do the divisions cost more as you move up? And that's just simply because players are...
Well, I find this,
typically wanting to make more money as they get better at pool.
Of course. I find this from Division 2 upwards. You start paying attention to what can I win, right? Whereas majority of players below that They're not there for the money.
No, they're in
They're
it
there to learn how to play,
of
get the
course.
experience, all of those types of things. From
Hey.
Division 2 up,
Yeah.
now I'm starting to gain that experience. Now I want to apply it, and therefore the money becomes more important.
That's right.
Right.
It is important.
Yeah.
It
And
is.
so as you progress up through, the money gets more in, more out.
That's right. And it's like anything. If I perfect, let's say, roofing, I want to get paid when I go install some shingles, and I don't want to get paid a little bit if I've perfected it. If I'm a master at it, I want to get paid quite well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of similar with pool. The better you get, the more you want to make, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So that's something I wanted to touch on before we go into how does this league function.
Right.
Okay. And so functionability, the requirements on your end, you need a phone that has a camera.
Or any camera.
Any camera. Doesn't matter what it is.
It could be a laptop. It could be a
You need an internet
tablet.
connection and access to a table.
That's right.
Those are the three requirements.
And it doesn't have to be a home table. We have lots of players that play in the pool room, and they just set up their phone or whatever camera they're using and play their games at the pool room. So
yeah. So why don't we give everybody an example of, let's score, do we want to just 8, 9, 10?
yeah, I'll shoot 8,
Ben
9,
will give
10.
us some the run through.
And Grant will give you the
give
walkthrough
you
on the racks and
Absolutely.
a little bit of the rules and whatnot.
Yeah. And so when you join in, this is going to be kind of the typical view of what we would want to see, right? You can see all 6 pockets, full area on the playing surface, and all balls at all time. Okay, now typically on our setup, the scoreboard and so on and so forth, you do not need that. You need some kind of a scoreboard, whether it's a whiteboard or what have you. At the end of each game, you simply hold up a corresponding ball that has the number of points you scored for that match. You can write it on a whiteboard and then just keep a running tally so that at the end of it, we know what your total was. And then you send in your scores at the end.
BCA rules, so the corner balls.
Yeah, we should have put a mic on you.
Yeah, one of those with a wire.
We should have put a wireless mic on you.
8 ball in the middle, corner balls different.
Correct. So BCA rack rules, 8 ball in the middle, and either a solid or stripe on either end. Oh, I love it. Breaking second ball. So in 8 ball, you do not need to make a ball on the break. You now have choice, because Ben didn't make a ball on the break, to either take ball in hand or leave it alone. Take it as it lies. You may as well take ball in hand, right? Because if Ben made a ball on the break and was able to run the table, there's an extra 5 bonus points for a table run. Uh-oh, he's trying now. And so you do get 1 point for each ball that you make, and then 3 points for the 8 ball. It is all ball fouls. So if you touch a ball, it is game over, the ghost wins. Or you miss, that is game over. So I believe it's 3 points, so a little lower. Is it 2? 2 points. A little lower. You may as well, there you go. So you can hold up a ball that way to indicate 2 points. You can use your fingers. You can, have a whiteboard. However you want to indicate at the end of each game, you just indicate. And you'll have other players. You'll have myself, Ben, and a select other group of people that do watch. And so the same rules would apply for 9 ball, counted a little bit differently. Oh, you got 10 ball. Okay. So 10 ball, 10 in the middle, and 2 and 3 on the corners, 1 on the top. The rest do not matter. You can put them in any order you like.
Gotta hit the 1 ball first.
Yes, must hit the 1 ball first, unlike in 8 ball where you can use any ball to break. So again, no bonus points available. Didn't make a ball on the break. So he now has choice. He can either leave it where the cue ball is or take ball in hand. And he'll get 1 point per ball. And again, all ball fouls. So this one you have to run in numerical order, the same as per 10 ball rules. So he's just adding 1 to his progression. So 3 points, again, indicate by a ball, fingers, whiteboard, or the scoreboard, right? On the scoreboard we have on the screen, it would be game 1 with 3 points. So it will run through and give a running total.
2 at the back, good time to bring that up.
Yes, absolutely. So again, reasons for why we do things the way that we do. In 9 ball, 1 on top, 9 in the middle, 2 at the bottom.
Makes it harder. You gotta break harder. No soft breaks.
Ball, if you make a ball and scratch, are there any points? You do not get the point scored for that scratched ball. So you'll still get the points up to that point, but if you scratch or foul and make a ball, that point does not count. Good question. And so 9 ball, again, scored the same way, 1 point per ball with the exception to the 9 ball. 9 ball is worth 2 points. It can be made early so long as it is in combination with the lowest ball on the table. So if Ben by chance had a 1-9 combo, it does not win you the game. It simply gains you the 2 points. You still have to run the rest of the rack to achieve a max score point. We'll see if he can beat his 3. Might be a little light. It's all right. That will work. Especially when you can bank even when the banks are closed. So let's say that this was game 2 of his 9-ball set. That would be game 2. So that is worth 10 points. Total cumulative is 13 points. If he was able to make a ball on the break and run in numerical order, then it would be an extra 5 bonus points per game. So depending on what division you play in, it would be either 15 games per night or 20 games per night. So each week you would add up your total number, submit that. We then take those scores and we update standings usually every Tuesday or Wednesday every week. So each week you know exactly where you stand within your division. Would I be correct in that summarization, Mr. Francis?
Very correct.
And that is how the Ghost is played.
Yeah, and like Dan says, if you got your sound on, you can just yell at people.
Typically, my first match every session, I'll go live and I'll give you a run through on whatever game it is that I happen to be playing that day.
That's right.
I usually keep my sound on and I'll give you a running commentary of exactly everything.
I did one as well with the wireless mic on.
Yeah, you sure did.
That was good.
It was fun.
But yeah, I think we covered all the rules. Of course, all ball fouls, just because if you touch a ball, let's say with the shaft or your cue or with your hand or something by accident, the Ghost doesn't have the option to move it back where it was or leave it where it is.
Yeah.
And it can be quite tricky if it's near other balls to replace it where it might have been.
Yeah.
So the only rule that makes sense, and you'll find that all the rules in the CSLIPL, they just make sense.
It's logical.
So that rule is one that seems a little heavy-handed, a little sticky, but it has to be. It's the only way that it's fair.
100%.
And it's actually really great training. I know personally I enjoy it because I need to learn to not play sloppy like that. You know, when you accidentally
Well,
move a ball, it tends to change things.
yeah,
You
and
don't get
again,
the
it's
good
one of
side
those
of it.
one of those value benefits, right? Is it teaches you how to play proper, right?
That's right.
And it takes into account all aspects.
Good question on the YouTube. Can you do multiple sessions 1 week to skip a week? Absolutely. You can play up to 2 matches per week. So you can play 1 week ahead or you can play 1 week behind.
Yes, they just cannot be played on the same day,
Correct.
right? So if I miss my week 1, I can do week 1 and 2 the following week, play one on a Monday, one on a Wednesday,
Yeah.
right? They just can't be both played Monday.
Right. And that's another rule that just kind of makes sense. It's like to not cause confusion of,
Yeah.
hey, didn't this guy just play?
Well, and really at the end of the day, what it's meant to do is depending on what part of the world you're from, because we are a global league, depending on what part of the world you're from, you may go on vacation at different times, right? So if I don't want to miss this session and it happens to be a 10-week session and I'm going on vacation in the middle for 2 weeks, well, week 4, I'm going to do week 4 and 5.
That's right.
I'll take that week plus the week to go on my vacation. I get back. Well, now I'm a week behind. I'll have to do 6 and 7 in the same week.
Another good question on the YouTube. Dave wants to know why higher ranked players play 20 games and lower ones play 15. Time isn't a factor playing on your own table. Time still is a factor,
it is.
Dave.
Yeah.
So our thought with this Ghost League was we wanted matches to be somewhere around an hour long. And so what we found is the higher level players, they just tend to play a little quicker.
Yep.
And so their 20 games take around the same time as the 15 games of the other divisions. So everything's around an hour.
Yep. And
Obviously, there's going to be a little bit faster, a little bit slower. I played one in half an hour once just to see if I could do it.
Was it 34
It
minutes?
was 29
Was it
minutes.
29
I scored
minutes?
over 200. Yeah.
Wow.
That was crazy.
Was I there for that one? Was that the one that you
No,
were
Joe was
close?
down here
Oh, okay.
scoring for me. It was quite funny. I was
Yeah, I
just
bet.
running around the table, just
I
motoring. And that's something that we talked about. We actually had a player offer to put up the prize fund for this for next session. He's going to put up $100 for the fastest run out.
Nice. Now, there's all kinds of little twists and things that do happen in the CSL IPL. I'll give you an example. I was challenged in a dress match.
Yeah, there's all kinds of fun little side bets.
The loser
prop
of,
bets
and I can't remember whether it was for the full session or just that particular
No, it was just
night.
it was just the 1 week.
That 1 week.
And then the next week.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the loser had to wear a dress.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
I did not have to wear a dress.
And yeah, so to answer Brad's question on the Facebook, there are different divisions
Yes.
for 7 foot and then 8 foot plus. So 8 and 9 foot play in their own division and 7 foot plays in their own division.
And again, we can further kind of stretch that as we start gaining more players and more players.
Absolutely.
Right?
We could have a predator only division.
We could have Predator, it could be Diamond, it could be 7 foot, 8 foot, and 9
That's
foot.
right. 8 foot separate. Yeah.
We're willing to put in the time and the effort. It's simply we need the players in order to really extrapolate and pull that out
Right.
as far as what it can be.
Right. There are thoughts of extra divisions, ladies, seniors, all kinds of different stuff.
Different
So
games too,
doubles,
right?
yeah, scotch, like one pocket straight pool. There's all kinds of stuff we can do. So we just need the numbers to support it.
Yeah. And so that's kind of the basic overview of the CSL IPL. A lot of information is available on the website, which is www.cslipl.com. You can click on the division, get all the game rules, recommendations, all of those types of things, FAQs, all of those things can be found on the website. There are benefits, obviously, to becoming a CSL IPL member, which is discounts on cues and clothing and all kinds of things. And so it's really kind of a holistic approach that we've tried to take with this and look at it in a common sense, what makes the most sense type of approach.
That's right.
Right? 4 players. Ben plays, I play. We're players too.
That is one big thing about this league is it's pool league run by pool players. So who would have thought that was a possibility?
Right? Who'd have thunk that?
We're not a hot tub company.
We're not.
We're not selling arcade games.
We're not.
We're pool players
Yes.
playing pool.
Yeah. And I love the game, right? And once we get into some of the other things that Q Sports Live as a business is working on, not just the league, as that becomes more apparent, you'll start to see just how much I love this game.
Well, and there being more benefits to the league as time goes on. I mean, we brought on the hugest partner in the industry.
Yeah. And
it's only going to get bigger and better. And
that kind of tells you something in and of itself, right? Predator doesn't just partner with anybody. They've put their name behind it. So it's something that they believe in, we believe in, we know where it can go, we know what it can do. And our name and our reputation is worth more than anything. And there was somebody that had made a comment and messaged in and say, hey, is this thing rigged based on where you slot people to play?
No.
Not at all. And not ever at all.
No.
Right? My integrity is worth more than that. So is Ben. So is everybody involved with Q Sports Live. That is never the case.
No.
Right? And it's worth more to maintain our integrity regardless of cost, regardless of anything, reputation. I don't care what it is.
Yeah, or losing players.
Losing players, that's fine.
We've had happen.
100%.
And I'll give 3 examples. I'm going to give 2 junior examples. I'm going to give one that's probably still listening. The 2 junior examples, Sam Henderson played in the junior league.
Yep.
He also played in like Div 3, I believe.
Yep.
And he won both.
Yeah.
And so
monster
actually,
player.
No, I don't think he won the junior because there was a better player.
It was Bernie Regalario.
So that was my other example.
Yeah.
As fantastic as these kids are, and as much as we want to promote them and help them, and we want them to play, and they're awesome for the league, we couldn't let them play in Div 2.
No.
Right? They're open players. They're very good. They're like semi-professional
super
players.
Talented.
And so we told them both, this is the division you have to play in.
That's right.
And one of them couldn't afford to play, so we sponsored him for one session.
Yep.
Because we wanted to help him.
Of course.
And we wanted him to play again. The other one just couldn't play again.
Yep.
And didn't want to. And
we get it.
We had to lose him as a player.
100%.
So, and the other example I'm going to use is Tommy Farrow, who's probably in the Facebook still listening and watching. And he had one of the most incredible sessions anyone's ever had.
In our history so far.
Any division.
Yeah.
And so he's being moved from Div 2 to the Open as well. He's skipping Div 1.
Yeah.
And we love Tommy Farrow. Mm-hmm. He's done great things for the league. He's promoted it immensely. He's brought in a lot of players for us.
Yeah.
He loves the league. We should be maybe just telling him he can go to Div 1 and win that too. But not at all. So
this is where it is.
Zero favorites played.
No, and it's
Tommy's
not based on our
average was
emotions,
so high.
right? It's not based on our emotional connection, whether we know you, don't know you, we like you, we don't,
That's
whatever.
Right.
It's all based on statistical
scoring.
data.
And Tommy
it's your
scored.
Score data.
Yeah, he
That's
scored
what
so
determines
high.
everything.
His average was so high that he's an open player. That's it.
Yeah. And you know what? His comment on the page when we posted out, where everybody is positioned, he's looking forward to the challenge.
Yeah, he said, skip
right? And
Div 1 and go straight
that.
to the Open. Challenge accepted.
Right? I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Talk about a champion attitude, right? That's the way to do it.
Oh, that's how you get better at pool right there.
Yeah. Well, and that's what we want, right? We're not a league that wants to see you hang around in Div 4 for the rest of your life.
We'll challenge you.
Yeah. We want to push you to be the best player you can be.
That's right.
Right? And that's how it is. And it's not based on my personal feelings or Ben's or Dan or anybody else that's involved, staff. It's not based on any of our feelings. It's all based on statistical data.
And I'm not huge on moving players down divisions, to be honest. Like, if you want to be moved down, you can almost request it. But I don't like moving players down because I want them to challenge themselves. So
yeah. Now, of course, I would think there would be a time frame, three sessions, whatever the case is, where if we've moved you up and there's no progression.
Yeah, if your scoring is not.
That would be something that we would consider.
That's right, of course. And it's always going to be tough to please everyone, but we do what we can.
Yeah.
And Dan's pretty happy that I only scored 2, 3, and a 10 when I was demonstrating. Jeff's got to sit this one out, but don't disown me, he says. He'll be back. We won't disown you, Jeff.
No.
Can't play them all. I might actually sit this session out, believe it or not.
I kind of have to.
Yeah, so I think it's probably within my best interest and yours
to
not play this session because we do have
only
a lot going
because of what we're, I think, about to get into now,
Yeah, I think that brings
which
us right
is
into
a
that.
really good bridge right into the Canada Open.
Well, and so maybe next session we'll be playing on a different table as well.
That is part of the plan,
Right.
So this table that Ben was playing on will be Ben's table. Where we're at right now, for those that don't know, is I guess affectionately dubbed the CSL IPL headquarters or Q Sports Live headquarters, which happens to be in my basement at this point. So, with any luck, fingers crossed, if the stars and the moons and everything else align properly for us, where that 7-foot table was that Ben was on, that will be a Predator 7-foot table.
Mm-hmm.
Where behind us, and I know y'all can't see this, but behind us to that side of the room should be, hopefully, a Predator 9-foot table.
A 9-foot. Eventually, this will all happen.
Yes, and then the Predator 9-foot light, Predator 7 light will be hung above those.
The arena lights.
Yeah. And there is a reason why we do all these things. And we want you all, whoever joins in and is a CSL IPL member, to play on amazing equipment.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to showcase what that is.
That's right.
Right. And being in construction, now I'll say this, when BCA happened in Vegas, and I know there was a lot of hubbub and a lot of talk about the tables and what happened and so on and so forth. And I'll put myself out there and have everybody understand that I was one of the guys working on those tables. So I know the whole story. I was there. I spent 18 to 20 hours a day in that room as a table mechanic, helping to alleviate the situation that happened. I'm not going to go on air and say 100% of everything that happened. I will say this. It has nothing to do with how well those tables are built.
No, zero.
Okay, I've been in construction 32 years, 33 years, somewhere in that neck. And quality construction is quality construction is quality construction.
Mm-hmm.
The issue was anything and everything that could potentially happen at a tournament and go wrong went wrong all at the same time.
Those tables are built like an absolute brick. We have one at Leather Pocket now, and I love it. And
yeah.
It plays so great.
It does.
So
and
great.
Construction-wise, I'm going to steal a line out of John Schmidt that if there was a meteor going to hit the planet, that's the table I'm getting under.
Pretty much. You could drive
that
a
thing
truck into that thing. It's
solid.
not going anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't we do this? Instead of going into the Canada Open right now, let's any questions about the league? Let's do that.
So there were a couple small questions here on the YouTube. What was the player count for Division 3 8-ball last session? I don't have it off the top of my head, but I want to say 10 or 12. It depends on the division, 7-foot or 8-foot plus. So
yeah. Well, and I'll say this too. Typically, as typical pool players take summer months off.
Mm-hmm.
So it is our low season. It is our small season. Yeah. Hence why we also made the time commitment at a 6-week time commitment. Summertime is when you're going on vacation, you're going camping, you're going here, you're going there. This is why this is now a 6-week session. Once this one's done, we jump right back in at the end of September, and that's a 10-week.
And let me answer this question. I'm glad that James Brinson asked this question because I have the exact answer. He wants to know, if you're already a BCA PL member, do you have to pay the dues twice if you want to be a member of the Ghost League? So I'm playing in another league, in-house league, and I was under the impression that I didn't have to pay the sanction twice. BCA has informed Leather Pocket that the sanctioning is only valid charter to charter, meaning you can only play on a team from within your charter. Therefore, they force all league operators to now submit their own sanctions for all their players with a minimum of 2 weeks played.
There you go.
So as much as we would love to say, oh, you're already a BCA member, you don't have to pay the sanction for BCA again, we can't. We have to send it into them.
Well, and it'd be the same. The opposite would be the true as well. If you're a CSL IPL member and you've paid your BCA sanction under the CSL IPL, but then I want to go play at Leather Pocket,
I got to pay it again.
I got to pay it there.
And trust me, I wasn't thrilled about it because in years past, I've paid it as many as 3 times.
Well, so
I'll
play devil's advocate a little.
Here's what I'm going to do this year is you can request to get that money back. So
Yes.
I can call BCA and say, look, I paid the sanction twice, but I'm only using one. Like, I'm not even going to play team event.
Well, no.
So my sanction means nothing. Like,
but I'll play devil's advocate a little bit,
so
right? And
I can get one of them back if I don't use them.
Sure,
both.
sure.
Like, if I played on a team from both charters.
I don't think it's about whether you use it or
couldn't
not.
get it back,
Okay?
but-
Here's how I view it. Here's how I perceive this to be. When you look at registering for any event, whether it's the Canada Open, whether it's Vegas, a state championship, what have you, if you're going to put a team together, that team must be from the same charter.
Yep.
Right? Now, it gives me as a player the option that if I want to play in the CSLIPL and have the option to form a team out of the CSLIPL, which could be from a lot of different spots around the world, or I can go to the Leather Pocket, play there, and also form a team out of there.
Choose from there.
Right?
Yeah.
So it really just broadens my option
Yeah.
as a player, even though, yes, it cost me $25 US.
Yeah. On
At
both
the end of the
sides, yeah.
day, $25 is
No, but
you
I
know,
was
for
only
that- for that
I was
option
only
for me?
yeah. No, and I'm only making the example for players similar to myself.
Yeah.
Who can't play team event.
yeah.
I can't play any BCA team
Correct.
event.
Yeah.
So I'm paying a sanction for what?
Yes.
And
But-
twice I'm paying it.
No,
so
and-
once I do want it back, I'm okay paying it once.
No, but I'll say
But-
this.
but so let's
is
just
that
say
a
I
fault
play-
of the function of BCA or a fault of the function of the lack of structure within billiards?
Oh, it's the structure for sure. But I'm just saying, if I play this league and Leather Pocket League, and then I play SML League, and I pay BCA sanction 3 times and never once even play a BCA event,
Yeah.
I'm going to go get 2 of them back. And I just wanted the players to know that that is an option.
Yep.
You can contact BCA, and you can get one of those back. You don't
Correct.
need you need to pay it twice.
Yeah.
But you can request to get it back.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to make sure,
See,
because I
and
know
I'll-
it's kind of upsetting when players have
No,
to pay
for sure.
twice. I get
For
where players
myself,
are coming from.
I'll look at it this way, right? I look at it as a big holistic picture. BCA every year, they do these state championships. They do this big event in Vegas, right? And we can go down a whole side tangent here. However, with that event in Vegas, the cost of doing that event is astronomical. And I'll use one part of the setup to give you an example where, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for this information, but, and I won't say the dollar amount, I'll say that. To hang the lights alone with each connection point was an astronomical amount of money per connection. Hundreds per connection. Okay? You take 380 some odd tables. Just to connect those lights, that number is astronomical.
Did we get? Where did we go from the sanction
That's
being
where I'm
paid
getting at.
multiple times though, to that affecting the cost of the lights being hung?
I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm
okay.
looking at it as a holistic picture.
Right.
Okay. So for them going through the cost of doing all of these things, right? Me as a player, I look at it this way. I have the option, and I've been in this position many, many times, as I'm sure you have, but probably not recently, where I plan on playing in this division. We have a team set. We're ready to go. Right at the start of the year, we're going to go play Vegas.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason,
Yeah, you lose a player.
this
stuff
guy
happens.
can't make it,
Yep.
whatever, financially, so on and so forth. Now I'm stuck,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
right? I look at it and say, I'd rather have both options, even though it cost me $25.
For sure. And I was kind of only like I mentioned, was like specific to players of 720 plus, where they just don't like.
Yeah, 100%.
If I had 3
You're in a
options
different
for teams,
spot.
that's all I was trying. I didn't want to go off on a half an hour tangent about like paying multiple times of the sanction. I just want players to know that are in that situation where they can't play teams or they're just not playing teams, they do have options. So you don't have to like just pay it over and over again just because the league says you have to pay it. You do have to pay it, but you can request to get it back. Because I don't think it's fair, as much as it's expensive to hang the lights and whatnot, I don't think it's fair to have to pay it multiple times if you, let's say, only use it once. Do you know what I mean?
I'll say it's probably not fair, but a valid option.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Right.
So
depending on scenario and circumstance.
And so this is like something that Sandra said. Sounds like the sanction fee should be optional. And I think like maybe in the way far future that might be something that'll come up. Just because I think they do have a lot of headaches with this.
Yeah.
So it could almost be like, well, I'm joining the league, but I'm never going to go to Vegas. Like I can't even cross the border or something. Like there's specific players like that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, well, I'm not paying the sanction.
Yeah.
And maybe they can do that in the way future. But
Zach
has a good one here too.
Yeah.
Zach's comment. As far as sanction goes, he's played a couple of sessions already, and he's playing more in CSL this year. He's paid full price each time. Is there a discounted price for playing multiple times a year in CSL alone? There's no discounted price, but if you paid the sanction more than once, you shouldn't have, Zach. You only have to pay the sanction once per calendar year.
Correct.
So definitely let us know if
and
you overpaid.
We will typically post out at the end of each session that if you're playing again, just fill in the registration form.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Then
if you pay online, you would have paid the sanction
It'll
fee again.
charge you the full price. So Zach, if you did end up paying extra, to send us a message. We'll make sure you get that figured out for you. You're paying a sanction fee for each session within a season. And you need it. No. So Sandra, that's a little different than kind of what we were talking about too. Was you pay a sanction fee once per charter per year. So, for example, Q Sports Live International Pool League has 4 sessions per year. Our players don't have to pay the sanction fee 4 times per year.
No.
Only once per calendar year.
Correct. So if you play in multiple sanctioned bodies, then yes, you would be charged multiple sanctioning fees.
Yeah, and it sounds like that was quite confusing for a lot of players, so maybe we can make that a little more clear going forward.
I think
because even Dan was saying, like, why would we pay $200 a year instead of $50 one time? But we don't. We don't pay $200 a year.
No. So if you play in the CSL IPL, let's say session 1 of each year, your CCS, ACS, BCA sanctioning comes out of that initial session. From that point on, any time that you want to play again, you do not pay online. We would then send you a payment link for the adjusted amount because you've already paid the sanctioning fee.
Is there a way we could maybe have like an option on the website where you could pay, like a returning player could pay, rather than, you know what,
there is.
Rather than
there
us
absolutely
always
is.
having to say, just fill out the registration, like returning player. They could just click. There'd be just a different option to click a returning player.
We can do it a different way where it's a little more functional, where any player that is played in a session will automatically get a discount code that would take that session or that sanctioning fee off.
Right. That's it. I knew you were going to figure it out. I knew you had the answer for me, Grant.
I did. It's too bad it took me till now to figure that one out.
No, but that's good. We're learning, right? We're getting better.
Well, no, that was going to be my next point, right? At the end of the day, again, there's no manual for it.
That's right.
We're creating it as we go through. Now, as far as league rules and how the game are played and so on and so forth, those are pretty nailed down, right? Now it's the function around that we can tweak, make better.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. And so there were actually a couple of questions that we didn't get into that I need to get into, right, regarding the league, where we had an email come in, and I want to go through a couple of these, right? Some we've answered already. A full set of rules. Yes, is the answer to the question. Can we get a full set of every rule that could ever potentially happen in any given scenario?
Like a fuller set.
Fuller set.
Because there's some weird one-off situations.
There are.
We had a player broke, and his cue stayed on the table too long. So an object ball came flying around, hit his cue. That ball came off the table. What do you do, right?
Right.
The only logical explanation was to re-break the game.
100%.
Because you can't put that ball in a pocket and
Well,
you can't spot it. So.
If you think about it logically, the game has to start with a legal break. That wasn't a legal break, therefore the game didn't start.
Not quite
Right.
a legal break, right? But it was like the weirdest one-off, and
Yeah,
there's been a handful of weird little one-off situations. So.
Yeah. So we will, once the Canada Open is done, I will have time where I can sit down and flush through all of it. Every scenario that could come up, and we'll write a full rule set.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Can we eliminate the 2-ball being at the back of the rack on 9-ball? The short answer, no.
No, and there's reasons for that rule, of course.
Right? It comes into how do I say this without saying it?
Well, it's pattern racking. I'll
Correct.
say it.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Pattern racking with a soft break.
I'm not shy.
Right? There can be things that can be done without that 2 at the back of the rack.
Yeah, if you rack the 2 at the front, it'll just come, softly up with the 1.
Yes.
You can kind of like, run the exact same pattern of rack every time.
Right.
And we don't want that happening. We want the game to keep the integrity of the game in check.
Correct. So, and I'm paraphrasing his line of questioning, but I wanted to make sure I got through it. Number 3, can we run tournaments? Well, 100%. We can, and we will.
Absolutely.
Right? We've done it before. We kind of did a test pilot of it with a big money added one.
Yeah.
And it went fairly well. Went
Yeah.
pretty successful.
Yeah, and the turnout was good, and the
And
feedback
so
was great. And
I think we could probably incorporate a few of those into a six-week session, depending on interest levels and so on and so forth.
That's right.
Maybe 1 in a 6-week session, 2 in a 10-week, or maybe 3 in a 10-week.
Something like that. Yeah.
We'll see. But the answer to that is yes, we certainly can.
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 4 is better promotion. Admittedly, and 100%, that falls on me. And again, my only excuse that I can give you is time. Right? I wish there was more than 24 hours in a day and that I didn't have to sleep in any of them.
For sure.
But I do.
That's right.
And I'm working a lot of hours right now, and the eventuality is we will get that done on a better stance. Understand with the Canada Open, putting together the framework of what this tournament is going to be maybe in the future, right? Putting that initial template together is a tough thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And so that's where I've spent probably 95% of my time. He's asked, also, can we get into doing state and or provincial tournaments? Yes, is the eventuality. We talked about that from the very beginning of when we started this league. And the eventuality is, yes, we definitely want to get into doing state and provincial championships. I think that would be phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Like you're the Wisconsin Ghost
Yes.
state champion. You know?
Yeah, and so there's certainly plans in place that just need to be executed. Make sure all the I's are dotted, T's are crossed, for also allowing for a live division of the CSLIPL. Right, that comes with a whole bunch of other things. Right, and that's something we're working on now, and should hopefully have ready within the next, I want to say, 8 weeks. Right, again, once we're past the Canada Open, that comes with a lot of different options there. In those live leagues, along with the Ghost League, the combination of that, yes, it could make for some really, really interesting state-run tournaments or provincial tournaments. And the sixth one we answered, is it rigged?
Yeah, we already answered that. Yeah. No, definitely not. The integrity of the league is always in check, and the beautiful thing about how it runs is you're live to that Facebook group, and there's no way to cheat. It's impossible to cheat.
Well, and we have to be heavy-handed where we have to be heavy-handed, and that is in our cheat policy, which, as a new player coming in, it'll be the first thing you see when you get onto the page. That has to be acknowledged. And that cheat policy is very heavy-handed, where if you're caught cheating, it is a lifetime ban, period.
And we're
no recovery.
We're 18 months in to this league, and we've never had to use it. So
no,
it's been good.
Yeah,
everybody is they're playing very fairly.
Well, integrity comes into play. Right?
So I think this kind of brings us into the Canada Open. Jeff on the Facebook says Sean Yee was asking how much each entry is for all the events at the Canada Open and Western Canadian Championships. And Jeff says he directed him to the website.
100%.
So maybe we can just put up this poster again.
Yep.
That sort of explains a little bit. And it has the website addresses on there where you can go check out all the information for the Canada Open and for the 2022 Western Canadian Championships.
Which we are immensely looking forward to. There has been nothing like this pedigree of an event in Canada, period. Certainly not with the money added. $100,000 in total added money into the pro side, $50,000 on the men's side, $50,000 on the ladies side. So the ladies side has an invite level of 64 players. The men's has an invite level of 128 players. It is, on the men's side, completely open.
Registration is open right now, although I know it says on this poster that registration opens soon. It is already open.
It is. And you can find that registration on that probilliardseries.com website. You'll go there, you'll see events at the top, click on that, you'll be able to scroll down to either the Predator Canada Open for the ladies or the Predator Canada Open for the men's.
That's where you'll find all the rules, info, the entry form if you'd like to get entered in on that. Super cool that they run it alongside the amateur event, so the pros and the amateurs are all in one nice little room.
Big room. Big room.
Not little room.
And lots of really cool items coming for this event. All Predator tables, 9 foot, 7 foot. Every table will have the Predator arena light above each table. Vendors, Jam Up Apparel will be there. We'll have some Q vendors there. Obviously, Predator will be there, along with a few others. So it is essentially the BCA event that happens in Vegas, just here in Alberta.
That's right.
And that's what we've wanted to kind of create, is to bring that BCA experience and that pro experience into Canada. This is not a Calgary thing. It is not an Alberta thing. This is a Canadian
It's a
thing.
Canada thing. And it's not a 1 year thing either.
It's not.
Should be noted. This is a multi-year deal.
Yeah. And again, right, trying to prepare everything that's involved, the floor plan, the layout, the lighting, the rigging, just everything involved with this event. I've now really come to respect what it is that both Predator and CSI do. Because I'll tell you what, this is not easy.
And every event promoter,
And they do it.
There's so much that goes into these events.
They're doing it 20 times a year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right? Which I find mind-blowing.
Yeah.
Because my involvement or our involvement in this event, I've been working on this since November.
Yeah. Yeah, I can only imagine trying to do
Right?
20 of them.
I can't for the life of me
I think it's
figure out
easier
how
after you do it once.
Well, and that's kind of, you're 100%. Once you've got the blueprint of what it feels like, acts like, is what it takes, it becomes a little easier to do.
That's right.
Right? Now, doing it 20 times per year, not so easy to do. And so I applaud Predator and I applaud CSI like you wouldn't believe.
No doubt. Dan's got a good question here on the Facebook. Are we sharing how players can acquire the arena lighting and tables?
100%.
We're sharing that?
We are.
Okay.
So with those lights that are coming up to Canada, being that this event is brand new, what it is, the likes of it to Canada, we are going to pre-sell all of those lights that are available. So we'll have 35 7-foot lights and 14 of the 9-foot lights.
Okay.
Okay. So I've started a list. It is cash and carry. If you are at the event, if you're outside and you just want to buy one of them from that event, understand it is a piece of history in Canada, then we can arrange for shipping. It would be an additional charge.
That's right.
Right. So those are on pre-sale as of right now. If you do want to get your hands on either the 7-foot or the 9-foot arena light, send a message, sales@qsportslive.com.
Or the tables.
Almost.
Yeah?
We're close.
Okay.
Almost.
And then the next question is, when are we launching the player's advantage?
The player's advantage.
That'd be like the viewer advantage for the table, right?
No, I think, Dan, you'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. I'm thinking you're talking the benefits of being a CSLIPL player.
Because it's in the same, it's like his question right after he talked about the arena light and the tables. Right, so I assume it's going to be
the viewer
the
advantage.
viewer advantage kind of flows in with the arena light and the tables, right?
That one I have to wait on.
Yeah.
I am waiting on confirmation of a couple of different things. And once that happens, then yes, if I can dot the I's and cross the T's, or cross the T's and dot the I's, we will have a viewer advantage for the stream table.
The TV table, yeah.
At the Canada Open.
So this is a great question from Tim as well. Will the Canada Open always be in Red Deer, or will it change venues from year to year?
To be determined.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably not going to be in Red Deer every year. Yeah. But we can't say for next year.
It is to be determined. And part of what makes the event possible is making a deal with a hotel or with a vendor. You get a much better deal by a long-term deal than a one of 1 year. So I'll say that. It's in the negotiating on how these events go on. And I know that firsthand because I had to negotiate that. That being said, there may be other options. I just have to talk to the powers that be at Predator and CSI and kind of give them what my thoughts are and ideas and see if they want to go along with it. Mm-hmm. And if they do, then we will let you know as soon as we know. Now, if that wasn't as clear as mud, I don't know what.
Yeah.
I don't know what.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Right.
We can't say too much.
I can't. I wish I could.
Allowed to.
Right. I really wish I could. I wish I could fill y'all in on everything that we're doing.
No doubt.
Because I'll tell you, you'd leave here and be as excited as you have ever been about.
You wouldn't.
The history and where pool is going.
You wouldn't sleep at night, just like we don't.
Yeah.
Because you've got the gears just turning.
Yeah. Just know that our reputation at Q Sports Live, when we first started and we said, hey, look, we don't need your cash. We just need your support, and we'll find a way to give back. We accomplished that with Q Sports Live Invitational, right?
Yeah, so that kind of that segues us nicely into the next topic.
It does. But I want to finish that statement by saying there hasn't been a scenario or circumstances where we've said to trust us and there hasn't been good come from it.
Yeah, we've always followed through, yeah.
Yeah, and so trust me, get into the Canada Open, get your team in, go play singles, support what it is Q Sports Live is doing.
Yeah.
And I can promise you it will be so worth it.
It's going to keep happening. And even if you can't play, come watch. It's free to watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody asked me, I was talking to somebody yesterday actually, and they're like, well, when can I buy tickets? And I said, tickets for what?
Yeah.
Tickets to watch the pro event. I said, there are no tickets for the pro event. Anybody can watch. Are you kidding me? For free? Yes.
Yeah.
The whole world can fill in that arena and watch if they want.
100%.
You don't have to be playing in the event. Guys, you don't have to be anybody. No, you can just show up and find an empty seat.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why we partnered with Predator to begin with, right? Is if you look at our business model, it is built to favor growth.
Yeah.
Right? We don't charge for our streams, never have, never will. Everything that we do has growth inherently built in. Predator is very similar. They have a very, very similar, very strong focus on the growth of the game.
Yeah, good vision.
That's why we partnered. And I'll say this, that I've got to know Karim on a personal level, who is the owner of Predator. And I'll tell you this from my honest opinion of who he is. He is probably the most driven, dynamic, focused individual that I've ever met.
Definitely in the industry.
The intention, the attention to detail, the innovation, the plan for a growth model is 100% phenomenal. Right? I've gotten to know him personally. We haven't spoke a lot over the last couple of weeks, but typically it's 2 to 3 times a week that Karim and I talk. And very, very similar to Ozzy Reynolds of CSI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very similar vision as well. Yeah.
I have developed such a massive respect for how he handles himself, how he conducts himself in business, what his growth model is, his plans to get to his goal. It's just phenomenal. It's inspiring, right? And if you talk to any of the members of the staff at Predator and CSI, they'll tell you the same thing.
Absolutely.
Right. That was the reason why we focused and wanted to partner with Predator and wanted to partner with CSI. It was important, right? And I'll be honest, there was a time frame or a situation that happened where CSI was trying to determine if this was a good move to come up to Canada and put on the amateur event, and whether they were the right fit, and so on and so forth. And I'm not going to go into the details as to why that was and the lead up to it, but at the end of the day, the both of us chose, ourselves and CSI, to support each other, to make sure that it was CSI that was involved.
Yeah.
And I'm extremely happy that that came to fruition.
Absolutely.
Because the guy's vision, who he is as a person.
Ozzy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a phenomenal guy.
Yeah, absolutely. He's done great things for the game. Good question from Zach here. Says, looks like there was an update today to the dates on the poster, August 17th to 21st. Was that only the pro events, or have the amateur events changed dates as well?
Good question. So the start of the amateur will start at the same time, right?
Still the 16th to the 20th.
Still the 16th to potentially now the 21st. They are looking at adding an event on the 21st that people can play in.
Oh, like a bonus event. Okay,
Yeah, bonus event.
Yeah, so the main event will still be the 16th to the 20th. So don't.
Yeah, and part of that decision came from executing the setup.
Yeah.
And some scenario and situations that we don't really have control over. We just simply get to deal with them. And the reality of the time frame required to set up what it is we're looking to set up. And so we added a day to the end and pushed the pros one day.
The start of the pros will now be the 17th instead of the 16th.
Correct. And run to the 21st.
So are there any other questions about the Canada Open or the CSI Western Canadian Championships? If you have any questions and you watch this after, of course, you can always send us a message or shoot us an email.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to kind of touch on the CSL Invitational quick. It's going to be the 24th to the 27th of August. That'll be a Wednesday to a Saturday. Don't worry if you haven't got your invite yet. It's coming out in the next couple of days. Should be tomorrow. I should have invites going out. If you would like an invite, if you feel like coming up to Canada for that 10K added tournament, certainly send us a message, shoot us an email. We'll send you out an invite.
Yeah, they're a very coveted invite.
Yeah, we do have a very long list.
Yes, and so yeah, if you want to get into play it, my suggestion: send a message in ASAP.
And Steve Daggle's question there: when are we going to take advantage of the untapped market on Twitch? So I think we kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, as how we do want to branch out to other platforms.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So we'll try to get the league to like YouTube and maybe, some other stuff. So.
Well, and I also want to make sure that we can walk before we run.
Absolutely.
Right. Let's get the current model that we're using, the growth of that, to support going into other areas.
For sure. And Steve, we have had many chats about that exact topic.
100%. We seem to be talking over each other. That's more me than Ben.
We do it once in a while. We like to both talk. So
yeah, it's because I'm very passionate about this game. I love this game. I don't get to play it at Ben's speed, at his level, but my passion for the game will rival anybody.
Yeah, well, I think we're both we're very passionate, of course. About
100%.
When I'm not playing pool, I'm watching pool. So
Yeah. And I'm working on pool.
Dave wants to call me later. Yeah, sure. I'll send you a message later, Dave. See what time I get home.
Yep.
If not later
We still
today.
got some work to do.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow, if anything.
Yeah. So with that being said, guys, we'll open it up one last time, one last opportunity. If you've got a question that you feel that we haven't answered, please do. We're not shying away from any type of question. We're here for it. Ask away, and we will answer.
Yeah, and if not, you can always, like I said, send us a message, shoot us an email. If you go back and listen to this after.
Send us a smoke signal.
Yeah, that works too.
And we'll accept it.
If you know where Grant lives, you can knock on his door. You can just say, Grant, I have a question. He'll answer it.
The crazy thing is I would answer the door and answer the question.
He totally would.
Yeah.
I would too. CSL 3-man teams are 9-ball only. Yes, I believe we're doing 9-ball only. We would do like multiple games, but we got to make sure we got enough teams to warrant that first.
Yeah.
And we think 9-ball is maybe the most popular Ghost League game so far.
If any, good point, Steph. Anybody out there that does have business, be it a small business, large business, if you want to be involved and be advertised at the Canada Open, that is something we are looking for, and we would be happy to talk to you about what that would take, what that involves, and so on and so forth. Again, you can send us an email, sales@qsportslive.com.
Special shirts for the event. Yeah, absolutely, Dave. 100% jam ups all over it.
We are. The designs are awesome.
Yeah, they're hot. Tommy, thank you, sir. We appreciate you too, pal. So I think that's a
That'll
wrap.
give it a wrap.
I think that's a wrap.
It's supper time.
Yeah, I'm hungry too, so let's call it a night.
Caller done. All right, guys. On behalf of myself, Ben Francis, and everybody involved with not only Q Sports Live, but the Canada Open, Predator, CSI, plus all the sponsors that have come in already, we appreciate you. If you have any questions, again, feel free to send us an email or comment on either of the pages, the Q Sports Live International Pool League page or the Q Sports Live page, and we will be sure to get back to you. Thanks again for tuning in with us, sitting around, listen to us chatter, go through some points. We appreciate it. Our next stream, I believe, will be at the Canada Open.
Yeah, of course, we always got Rod going live pretty much every weekend from Winnipeg, so make sure you guys tune into his streams. He does fantastic stuff.
He will be here for the Canada Open.
Yeah, we'll also have him up here helping us out. So.
Yes, along with a few other
we'll have a
influencers. All right, guys, have a great night. We will catch you on the live stream.
Good night, everyone.
Have a great night.